Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here. And as promised, I did say I would bring another wee video today. I'm not feeling great, not feeling 100%, but it's all it is. I'm just really tired. And I think it's just the baby. That's all it is. I think, you know, just, and it's no bit, it's no hard. It's just, it's just my changing of my routine, staying up till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? And still getting up about 8-ish, you know what I mean? So 7 sometimes, you know what I mean? Because I'm still trying to get out of my habit of waking up in the birds. Um, but I'm just adjusting to that, you know what I mean? So um, let's have a wee look at Starmer's statement.
We must continue to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position, whatever happens next, and to make sure that if there is peace, and we all want peace, that it is lasting.
So, just jumping in. I'm going to just jump in because it needs broken down, you know what I mean? So he's talking about he's getting on as if he's brought the peace. He's brought the peace. Oh, I've brought peace. All he's done is created war. He's a warmonger. He's loving the war. He's funded the war. He's responsible for the unaliving of thousands upon thousands of Ukrainians, thousands upon thousands of Russians. This is all down to Europe and Biden, not you going for peace. Everybody was wanting the peace the last time. There should have been a peace deal the last time. Russia wanted it. Ukrainians wanted it. But Britain and Biden said no. That's facts. That is facts. So now he is, because Trump is like the man, the real man, no doubt about it, and he's looking like a pathetic wee puppet, and his puppet masters aren't happy with him. They're probably threatening, we're going to tell everybody about you if you don't fucking get your act together, so he's like, this is what this is about, let's carry on.
This isn't just about the front line in Ukraine, it's the front line of Europe and of the United Kingdom. It's about our national security.
Lies, lies and lies. Front line. He hasn't seen a front line in his life. He went over there last year and dressed up as Ken from Ken and Barbie, standing beside a couple of real hard men. He just looked even stupider. And 3 years ago, I'm talking about, this is 3 years ago we could have peace in Ukraine. 3 years ago, But no, they done. They pretended they were looking for peace to buy time to build more NATO forces. That's what they did. They conned the Russians into believing that they were actually genuinely looking for peace. This is why Trump's so angry. This is why Trump's saying 3 years ago he could have done this. He could have done this 3 years ago. I'll bring that as well. And see the other thing about, it's the front line. We're guarding Europe. We're guarding. What the fuck is he talking about? Russia has never, ever threatened Britain. Never threatened Europe. He made it clear years ago, don't come up to my border. Stay away from my border. You can do what you want in NATO, but don't come up to my border. NATO agreed. What did they do? Went up to their border, started playing war games, started talking about getting NATO, put a comedian in charge of Ukraine, right? Got up to all sorts of fraud and skullduggery and criminality, right? This is what they did. This is all it was. And, that's what that was about. There's no threat to Britain. There's no threat to Europe. Russia are in no way. I mean, I speak to Russians. I know Russians. In no way is there any threat coming from Russia to this country. So that's just pure and utter lies, guys. Pure and utter lies.
And I think that we need to do more. We need to step up in terms of our collective response in Europe. And by that I mean capability, by that I mean playing our full part when it comes to the defence of the sovereignty of Ukraine if there's a peace agreement, and of course when it comes to funding and training.
Angry does that make you feel, guys, that the nonsense that this man is coming out with? Just to get involved, just to be part of it all. Look, I'm part of it. Yeah, we're planning stuff and we're going to make sure everything's okay after the peace. The peace hasn't even fucking done yet. You know what I mean? He's got nothing to do with it. Nobody wants to hear what he's got to say. Nobody wants to listen to what he's got to say. Nobody wants him involved in anything. And yet he's standing there going, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to that, we're going to still pump in loads of money, we're going to fire troops over, we're going to protect Ukraine's border. Why? It's got nothing to do with Britain. The British people don't want nothing to do with it. This is just him. This is just the far left wanting to feel like they're doing something because they haven't got a clue what they're doing, and they just want to sound like they're doing something. You know what I mean? It's like, it's embarrassing for us It's embarrassing. All the other world leaders will be watching him speaking and going, "What the fuck's he talking about?" This is the leader of Great Britain wanting to pump money into a country that's like that's got nothing to do with us. There's no need. We voted for Brexit to get away from all this nonsense, and now he's trying to drag us all back into something that has nothing to do with us at all. It's an absolute it's disgusting. I'm absolutely disgusted at this man. It's just like it's clear that I'll show you how clear it is that he's not in control or he's not in charge. I just want to add this wee bit in. Now, you understand the peace deals have just started yesterday. It's going to be a wee while before any peace is knocked out, okay? Now, you've got to understand this is very clear to me. Listen to what Starmer's saying. He's talking about peace as if it's already been done, as if the peace is already there. That tells me one thing. That tells me the Starmer knows that there's going to be peace between Russia and Ukraine. Now, if he knows there's going to be peace, basically, what can you understand what I'm saying? All along, Starmer's known that there could be peace in Ukraine and Russia, but all they've done is pump more money in, more weapons in, and sent our troops over to help them use the ballistic missiles that they've been firing into Russian territory. Can you understand how serious this one wee bit is, where he's talking about like the peace as if it's already done? Now, any man who was involved in anything like this would be constantly trying to bring peace. And the only reason you would be pumping money and guns and everything else in is because you don't think there is any chance of peace. And the only other chance is fighting. But yet here we are. As soon as there's a whisper of peace talks, Stormers talking like it's in the bag. Oh, there's peace. There's going to be peace. And when the peace is here, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's very important. That bit is very, very important, guys.
Europe must play its role. And I'm prepared to consider committing British forces on the ground.
So this has been wrote out by the people in charge, the people that we don't see, the people that are running Biden's, they're running Macron, and they're running that header in Canada. This is the WHO, the WEF, who are in control of Europe and all the European leaders, apart from Germany and all these other ones that are voting to get rid of them because they can see their government are being controlled by these headers. And this isn't a perfect example. I've never seen a prime minister in my life. Please research it. Please bring me evidence, guys. I've never seen a leader, when circumstances are so serious, talking about putting troops into a war, up to a border that's got nothing to do with talking about Europe like there's something to do with us. We've got nothing to do with Europe. And as soon as we get rid of Labour, we're going to make sure this never happens again, guys. I can imagine we will never get dragged into anything like this again. So, at the end of the day, Starmer doesn't realise, the ones at the top, they don't realise what they're doing, But who reads off a bit of paper? I never read off a bit of paper, all the YouTubers and Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage even, leader of UKIP, nah. Never see them reading off paper, Why is that? Why is that? I think it's obvious, isn't it? Very obvious.
Alongside others, if there is a lasting peace agreement. But there must be a US backstop, because a US security guarantee is the only way to effectively deter Russia from attacking Ukraine again.
Yeah, you see, to deter Russia attacking Ukraine again. Russia never attacked Ukraine, right? The facts are all going to come out soon. Trump is going to bring the truth out of what's really happened. A lot of people don't realize this has been going on for about 10, 15 years. I've seen Ukrainians throwing Russian-speaking men and women off rooftops and then beating them to death when they hit the bottom, so they couldn't, just to make sure. I've seen that with my own eyes. This has been going on for a long time, and Russia put up with an awful lot before. They had no choice. They were given no choice. They were driven to it. It's all been driven for this, because you see, the Europeans thought that Russia would have give up, or Russia would have depleted all its. They didn't realize that China, Iran, South Korea, Belarus, and plenty of other countries with feeding them with plenty of money, feeding them with plenty of troops, and feeding them with plenty of... Because everybody else could see what was going on, you see. We were all getting fed the nonsense of the big bad Russian bear, while the rest of the world could see what truly was going on. They could see that Russia was just... There's not a country in the world... There's not a country in the world that wouldn't have done the same. What have we done to Ireland? Let's be honest. We occupied Ireland. You know, that's where the 6 counties, the 9 counties, they started with. What was all that about? Why did Britain go into Ireland? The exact same reason Russia's done that to Ukraine. Oh, it's okay for us to do it, but it's not okay for the Russians to do it. You know? Let's carry on.
And I think it's going very well. But today I heard, oh, well, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal. I could have made a deal for Ukraine that would have given them almost all of the land, everything, almost all of the land, and no people would have been killed, and no city would have been demolished, and not one dome would have been knocked down.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Russia talks, your impression of how they went today, and if you're perhaps more confident or less confident of a deal after what happened today?
Well, much more confident. They were very good. Russia wants to do something. They want to stop the savage barbarianism. I mean, what's going on over there? It's soldiers are being killed by the thousands on a weekly basis. It's ridiculous. It's a war that would have never happened if I was president. And I've been watching these people being killed at levels that you've rarely seen, not even close, since the Second World War. And I'm very disappointed. I hear that, they're upset about not having a seat. Well, they've had a seat for 3 years and a long time before that. This could have been settled very easily. Just a half-baked negotiator could have settled this years ago without the loss of much land, very little land, without the loss of any lives.
I mean, how embarrassing is that? How embarrassing is that for Britain, Germany, France, all these countries that have been sending millions and millions and billions to Ukraine to help them fight a war? Sending weapons, sending rockets over so they could fire rockets into Russia to really annoy the Russians. British rockets getting sent into Russia by British men, soldiers. And how embarrassing. Trump, I would have finished this 3 years ago. And now, they're all complaining about not getting round the table. Oh, we want to be involved. We've been here all the whole time. We pumped in millions. What a reply to that. You've had 3 years and you couldn't do it. And now you're all complaining. How embarrassing is that for the Starmer and all sitting around their wee tables right now, all moaning like fuck because big Trump's on the scene. This is the most embarrassing time for Britain, and this is going to keep happening every time anything's got to do with the rest of the world. We are going to look like the most embarrassing country in the world because our country is run by clowns. Hope this has cleared a wee bit up about what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. And just to give you a recap, Trump is now back, and he is going to bring peace in Ukraine. Because there could have been peace in Ukraine 3 years ago, but for some reason we insisted on unaliving thousands upon thousands, if not million, white Western men and women. Remember that. All these men were white Europeans, Christians on both sides. Hundreds of thousands gone. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions and millions of future children gone. Well done, Britain. Well done, France. Well done, Germany. And well done, Biden administration. And thank you, God, for Trump. Thank you, Lord. No more men will now die. No more men. No more mothers will now suffer. I'm Freedom Dad. God bless every single one of you. God bless and pray. Let's pray for all those suffering through loss that are going to now deal with trauma of saying goodbye to their loved ones as they went off to fight an illegitimate war. Being forced to fight, being dragged off the street and forced to fight. That's what the Ukrainians were doing. They were hunting men down on the street, hunting older men down, 50s and 60s, and dragging them to war because they were running out of men. Absolutely disgusting. And you know what? There was only one way this war was going, and that was nuclear, because they were running out of men. And then they would have sent British men over, and then we would have run out of men. And then there would have been no choice but to start firing big ballistic missiles at each other's countries. Okay, that's how serious this is. That's what our British government tried to get us involved with, and are still trying right at this minute around the table in France. Remember that, guys. God bless.